Welcome back to the channel. Carl Smith loves to travel. Let's go exploring places. Now, on the screen, I've got the street view of the Croatian border crossing that you will come to if you do a trip from Dubrovnik into Montenegro, whether it's to visit Kotor, Budva, Sveti Stefan, Lady of the Rocks, Perast, wherever it is that you're going, or even if you were on holiday in Montenegro and you flew into Dubrovnik airport, then if you're on a coach transfer, this is where you will end up. So this is actually the Croatian border crossing. So the other side of here is Montenegro. So where the camera is looking this side, this is the Croatia side. Okay, so that down that road there is towards Dubrovnik airport and Dubrovnik itself. It's about half an hour drive that way to Dubrovnik. Now I know I've been on trips to Kotor, and obviously I will be going into Kotor, Montenegro, when I go on my holiday to Dubrovnik very soon. And the chances are you could be waiting at this border crossing for 20 minutes, you could be there 30 minutes, you could be there an hour, you could be there longer. And it's not just when you go into Montenegro, it's when you come out. Because there's always buses and mini buses and cars and everything going through, and there's ones coming back. But when you do eventually cross the border, then you will obviously encounter this sign, which is basically the end of the Montenegrin area. This is going back to Croatia, this picture. But and then when you enter Montenegro, you then hit this border crossing. So there's two. So the first one I showed you was the Croatian border crossing, which is this one. That's the Croatian border crossing. So you go through there and you are then in Montenegro. But you will then go to the Montenegrin border crossing, which is this picture here. So you have to have your passports out twice. As the Croatian border, they check your passport, and at this one they check your passport, and the same going home back to Croatia. So if we look on the satellite, there you can see you've got the Croatian border. So when you're going into Montenegro, you'll be going this way. Hence you can see Montenegro and Hrvatska, which is Croatia. So that's the road back to Dubrovnik and the airport. This is the road down to Montenegro itself. So if you go down the road, you then come to the border crossing for Montenegro. It won't show you on the street view, unfortunately, because you're not able to photograph, but actually I can do this one. That's looking back. So that's going back to Croatia. This is coming in from Croatia to Montenegro. So you generally head into Montenegro down this road, and you eventually come to a shopping area where generally you will stop off for a coffee on the way to your trip. I know last time I went, we actually stayed at this garage. As when we went to Montenegro, the Kotor, the shopping centre that you normally go to was closed. So the rest break was actually at this garage. This was in July last year. So they've got toilets in there, they've got a little cafe, and I stood out here by this fence having a brew. You can have English breakfast tea, and obviously it's Euros in Montenegro. And then we carried on down this road, which took you to Herceg Novi, which is the first main city that you go through before you hit the main area of Montenegro. Because the actual rest stop that you normally go to is this one here. Just here. There's a supermarket just there. This is actually where you generally stop for a brew on the way down into Kotor, just at the entrance of Herceg Novi. See, Herceg Novi. So this hypermarket is where you stop for a brew and a toilet stop. But we had to stop at the garage in the previous shot because it was closed as we went on a Sunday. So this shopping area was closed. So you then travel by coach along this road through Herceg Novi, the E65, which actually goes all the way up to Dubrovnik and the airport. When we did the cruise, we came in through the Bay of Kotor through here and went straight up and followed the coast all the way up there, in between the narrow part, under Perast and down to Kotor, and the sail out was exactly the same. So when we went on the cruise back in October, me and Dad got up at like 6 in the morning, and the ship had literally just started entering here, and we stayed up for the whole 2 hours before we entered down to tender shore down there, and we got the tender boat into Kotor. But on the coach, you follow the E65 all the way up, and it goes right the way round till it joins the E80, which comes to Perast, which is where you stop after your coffee break at Herceg-Novi. You go to Perast. It's about 45 minutes from there to there, but if you sit on the right hand side of the coach, you've got a fantastic view of the bay. And then you come up here and it's just mountains. It's just absolutely beautiful, as I will show you shortly. You then leave Perast either on a boat or you go by coach down to Kotor, where you get 3 hours to look round. You don't have to do the walking tour. I generally don't, because I like to do the fort, which I'm going to be doing because I want to do it for the channel. And then you head back either down to Tavat, which has got an airport where you can go with Jet 2 now apparently from Birmingham and have holidays in Montenegro. And then you usually get a car ferry which goes back across to this road, and you come back to Herceg-Novi, back through the border, back to Croatia. They generally do not have a toilet stop on the way back, so it is advised you go to the restrooms, as they call it, while you're in Kotor, because they will not stop on the way back. So it's generally a 2 to 3 hour drive back, because you could be at the border a good hour or 2 hours. And you can use the toilets at the border control as well, apparently, so that's a good thing. But anyway, when you leave Herceg-Novi, you come out and you head round to Perast. So if I just take you on a couple of screenshots so you get an idea of the scenery that you will see. This is just leaving Herceg-Novi. So this is the view that you start to get, the Bay of Kotor. So when you're on a cruise, you generally come in on the cruise ship through there, and you come in and you sail up round to Kotor. In fact, the Bay of Kotor starts down there. So you come in through here on the cruise and you sail past all this. But on the coach, it is absolutely amazing scenery. So if we now move up a little bit, I will give you another screenshot of the view, just so you get an idea. So there again, there's another screenshot of the view. So Tavat Airport is over there, and Kotor is the other side of this mountain. So you generally follow this route all the way in. So if you sit on the right hand side of the coach, this is the view you'll get. If you sit on the left hand side of the coach, you'll get that view on the way back if you come this way. I generally sit on the right because I know you're going to get that view, and you also get the view of Dubrovnik when you leave. We'll now move further inland so you get a better view. So now the scenery's changed a little bit because you're now starting to see the mountains. So the road carries on round into these mountains because Kotor is round the back of these mountains. This is still the Bay of Kotor, where you come in on the cruise. Tavat Airport is across there. So it'll be a fantastic landing on a plane if you were going to Montenegro. If we now move up a little bit, the scenery changes once again, and you've now got the mountains just here. So if we just go past this a minute, you can see that the mountain range has started. Perast is just across there, and Kotor is round this way. So, but this is the general view when you come in. It's just beautiful. And we came in on the cruise ship. This is the narrowest bit, so we came in through here towards Perast, Lady of the Rocks, and went round that way to Kotor. So if I now go back out, we're now going to go opposite Perast, and that's the view that you will get when you come in to Montenegro. So you've now got Perast over there. The Lady of the Rocks is just there, so if I zoom in you can see it. There's the Lady of the Rocks just there, which you can do an optional boat trip from Perast, which is there, across to here, and the coach generally stops just outside here, Perast. So that little town is Perast. That's the church tower there. And if you've watched the Susan Calman cruising series, she actually went to Perast and Kotor on one of the episodes. And she went to Dubrovnik. And funnily enough, she was on the Morello Explorer 2, which was the cruise ship we went on in October last year. So again, there's another shot of it there. absolutely spectacular scenery. So again, you've got the Lady of the Rocks just in the middle. That's Perast, just there. So that's where you will go, and you go down to Kotor down there. But the road carries on all the way around these mountains till you get to Perast, which is across there. The water is just so clear as well, as you can see. So that's Perast, just there. Lady of the Rocks is just here. And that's the view that you get when you go into Kotor itself as well. See if we can get another view. Go past all these bushes. There we go. So that's looking down towards Perast. So when you go on a cruise, you generally come through here and you go that way to those mountains, which is Kotor, but the road carries on round this to Perast, which is across there. We'll now head to Perast so that you've got an idea of what to see. So we're now level with Perast, so hang on a minute. Perast waterfront. Yeah, so that's the back end of Perast. Lady of the Rocks is just there. This is just a picture so that you've got an idea of what to see. And then this is another shot of it. So when you go into Perast, that's the view. The coach generally drops you off just a bit further back from here, and you walk along this. You can even have like an Instagram type of thing photograph there. You can walk along here and they get the boat. These boats go to Kotor, which is down there. You can walk along this front. So these boats go to Kotor down there. There's a waterfront restaurant I go to down there where you can have a nice drink, whether you have tea, coffee, whatever. But you can have a general wander around this, and then you go on the bus or on the boat down to Kotor itself. And that was taken last May, not by me personally. So if we go on to the Lady of the Rocks, this is the optional boat trip you can do. So the picture of the Lady of the Rocks is there. So Perast is just there opposite, Kotor is down there. So you generally get to have about half an hour or so. So that's it again. You can go inside the little church if you want to. That's taken inside it. And then you've got your Lady of the Rocks. And then this island, which you can't visit, but you can visit this one, because that's the one that they do the trips to. And then you generally go from there down into Kotor. By boat it's nice, because you're basically following the scenery all the way into the Bay of Kotor itself. So you basically follow this into Kotor. So when you get down into Kotor, obviously the scenery changes, and it's just absolutely stunning. So if we go down into Kotor now, so when you go on a cruise, you either dock in the port there, or you might anchor out just up here. So this is now in Kotor itself. So that's a typical cruise ship that's in. That's a P&O Oceana. But the Royal Explorer 2 is docked there, the Thompson Spirit's docked there, the Celebration's docked there. And then you've got the Old Town Kotor, which is behind these palm trees. And then there's a fort which you can go to at the top of these rocks. In fact, it's up there. That's the fort, just up there. It's about €8 to go in, and I always go up. And in July when I went, I could only go halfway because it was absolutely boiling hot. It was nearly 40 degrees in July. When we went in October, it was still about 26. So you generally enter the old town of Kotor through that archway there. This is where all the tour guides are. You generally go in there, you've got a map as well, and you go in there and you've got like the bell tower, the clock tower, but the fort is at the top of the hill. There's a church halfway up just there where you can stop off for water, and then it's 1,500 steps in total to the top, but the view looking down is absolutely spectacular. Just to give you an idea of the view that you will get from the top of the fort, this is one of the pictures from halfway up. That's from halfway up. So as you can see, it's a fjord, so all cruise ships come in this way. That's one of the cruise ships there, and you generally come in, and that's the view that you get halfway up. Let's see if I can get one where it's a bit further up. Right, so there. So Perast is round the corner from here. This is that church I was telling you about halfway up where you can have a rest. But this is the view you get. It's 1,500 steps in total, 500 up to this church and then another 1,000 to the top, so you've got to be well fit to go up. Again, that's another view of the fjord of the Bay of Montenegro. It's the most southerly fjord in Europe. So as you can see, the pictures are just amazing. You can take lots of photos and video. So when I go in a couple of weeks, I will be doing live streams and live videos and photographs as well of this, because it's just amazing. And to see it in spring will be different to going in the summer and autumn. And you've got other walks around Kotor as well. You can walk the city walls along here. It's free of charge. You just go up the steps and you can walk on these walls. So it's a nice little town to visit. Very, very historic. A bit like a mini Dubrovnik, really. There's a cats museum. There's the city walls, as I said. There's the cathedral you can visit. The little squares that you can go to. So this is in one of the squares in Montenegro. This is just outside the old town, actually. So you can walk all along these walls and going through the archway just here. There's that cruise ship there. So that's really giving you an idea of what Kotor looks like. So that's basically a trip to Montenegro for today. So thank you for watching. So look out for the next video, which will be coming up probably tomorrow. And I will try and do one in Kotor, so I can do a street view down there, and also Ston as well. So you can have a look at that in Mostar. So thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Continue to like and subscribe and comment. And thank you for watching, as I said, and good evening.